everyone, and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our September 22nd, 2020 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some of the topics we didn't get to last week because of internet problems. We're going to be talking about Supergirl Season 6 being the final season of the TV series. We're going to be talking about, what else have we got? We've got comic book stuff, December solicitations, Brian Michael Bendis leaving the Superman titles, and so much more. We're also going to be turning to you to take your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss, and to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show. Let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Going well, and yourself?
I'm doing okay. It's, really slow week. Nothing at all to talk about. Nothing to catch up with. We got just a slow news day once again, in that not at all kind of way. But we will get all to that in a second. We are here to talk about Superman, and since WGBS Live is all about Superman, we want to hear from Superman fans watching us live right now on YouTube. So, about halfway through the show, and if we don't have a lot to cover, which we're kind of covering 2 weeks worth of stuff because of what happened last week, we will try to take calls. So how does that work? Well, first thing you need is Skype. Go to Skype, find Superman homepage, and message us that you'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple of things. One, message us. This is really important. As we are on a delay, I'm getting my reasons mixed up. Okay, very good. This technology is fragile, and any attempt to kind of message us or call in sometimes screws us up. Also, if you are using an external speaker to watch WGBS Live, please turn that down before we take the call. We are in a bit of a delay, as I mistakenly said before, and that can really kind of screw things up, and you don't know what we're saying, and it's all over the place. So that's pretty much it.
That's it indeed. And if you are tuning in live via our YouTube channel to watch tonight's show, we invite you to join in and chat with fellow fans, post your comments and ask questions. Michael and I will keep an eye on your comments throughout the show, so get involved. And if you want your comment featured live on screen during the show, feel free to post a super chat. Yep, that's what it's called. All you have to do is click on the dollar symbol in the chat screen there. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on a dollar amount that you want to donate to the show, and we will feature your comment or question live on screen. And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, Tina Murray, and John Patrick Van Pelt. Well, Michael, as you said, we've got 2 weeks worth of stuff that we have to get through because of the fact that last week my internet stuffed us up and kept logging me off and coming in and out, and we got pretty much 14 minutes of show actually done, and then we had to abandon everything. So let's get straight into it. We spoke about the animated movie Superman Man of Tomorrow in that period that we got to speak about. You had mixed feelings about it. I didn't mind it at all, but I did have some issues, and we kind of touched on those. But on the film side of things, there's been a lot of rumor and speculation about Henry Cavill coming back. There were some sites reporting this week that he'd signed a 3-film deal. I can tell you that those rumors are false. There has been no corroboration by any of the well-known and reputable media that deal took place. I'm hopeful. I would obviously love for that to be true, but it was just a rumor started by the usual clickbait sites. Sadly, it's not anything official at this point in time, but there was a very interesting article on Forbes by Shiraz Faruqi, who posed the question, is Superman hampered by our nostalgia for what has been as opposed to the evolution of the character that could be?
Yeah, I read this shortly before we started tonight because I really wanted it to be fresh in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because to a large extent I agree with this take. I remember it was years ago. God, it must have been over 10 years ago when there was a rumor that Mark Miller had met with a director and they had this idea for a Superman film. And this director made the comment to Mark accordingly. I really don't know how any of that went. But the idea was that if Richard Donner had made a film in 1978 that was nothing but a big budget version of the 1950s George Reeves series, it wouldn't have done as well. They reinvented Superman visually, sound wise, origin wise, everything from the ground up for a new audience. And the writer of this article makes the argument that Man of Steel did the same thing in 2013, and that if we're going to continue forward, we need to make it for a contemporary audience. The thing I think the writer leaves out is, yes, you do need to update it. Superman Returns was a misstep in that it was a nostalgic love letter to the Donner films, both in terms of music and in terms of the way Krypton looks, and they carried that over in the comics. So I agree with the concept that nostalgia can blind it, but at the same time, reinventing does not mean that you change core concepts of who the character is, which I believe Man of Steel did. Now, that spoke to an entire audience of people. I'm not going to argue that. I don't argue taste. I don't yuck somebody else's yum. The whole nine yards. But it's where I disagreed with this article, is that I don't think it went far enough. It's just like, hey, I agree with you, but, and that was kind of my reaction to it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. The core of the character shouldn't change. There are certain parts of the character. I mean, he uses Batman and Spider-Man as an example in the article for characters that have been allowed to evolve and that we've accepted different actors in those roles, but they haven't changed the core of those characters in those films. That for Batman or Spider-Man, who he is. For Spider-Man, he's still a geeky, young man who's trying to find his way, and whether it's the changes they were made, whether the webs come out of his, from like a biological thing, or whether they're a creation that he makes, how old Aunt May is, these kinds of things. Yeah, we can adjust, but the core of the character, the what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, is they stay true to that. And I think that is where Superman, as you say, necessarily hasn't been the core of the character. Sometimes is tweaked and changed unnecessarily just because they've changed the actor or they're changing the origins. And so there is some element of, I agree that nostalgia is a problem for many, that, Christopher Reeve is the one true Superman, and so they won't accept anybody else. But I don't think it's necessarily that's stopping the Superman movies from being, super successful. It's that, as you say, they haven't stayed exactly true to the core of the character in many ways in the films that they've done. I believe Henry Cavill is a great choice and still is a great choice to play Superman, and I believe that he has the heart of the character at his core. It's just a matter of whether or not they can portray that on film.
Yeah, your comments about Spider-Man are dead on. Whether it's Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland, at the heart of all of those all of those versions of the character, I should say, is somebody that was given powers, made a mistake, and now is doing everything they can to make up for that mistake by using their powers. With great power comes great responsibility. And Batman's an odd choice too, because I really don't see much of a difference between the Bale version and the Affleck version. I mean, obviously stylistically there's differences, but those are two very dark versions of those characters. And it also ignores the fact that there were several different animated versions of Batman in that time period too. Yeah. So we're not looking at these things. You can't look at these things in a vacuum. And I appreciate he's got an article to write, very limited amount of space to make an argument. But I look at it like Kreese from the first Karate Kid film. You don't drop a line like that in this dojo and leave, old man. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just like you can't just say, well, it's like Spider-Man and Batman who were allowed to evolve, and I'm not going to mention anything else because don't look too deeply into this argument. Again, it was a great article. I agreed with the overall theory. Um, it's not new, but to people discovering it recently, it probably was. I always got to check myself before I wreck myself in the fact that I have read a lot of articles like this. I have read a lot of Superman comics. I've seen a lot of things. So it's like I kind of sometimes forget what it's like that the thing you just discovered brand new is the only version to you.
Yeah.
So, I don't like to be unfair, but at the same time, uh, you there were other ways that argument could have been pushed that I think would have he would have gotten to the same road.
Yeah. No, fair enough. All right, so it will be interesting to see where Superman films do go. There isn't any plans that we know of at the moment. We're hopeful. There is talk about Henry appearing as cameo roles in other characters' films, what have you. It's all up in the air at the moment. We'll wait and see. But still on the movie side of things, Sideshow Collectibles are taking pre-orders for this beautiful fine art print and framed canvas titled Someone to Believe In by Christopher Meadow. I'm bringing up the graphic for you right now. This is an image of Christopher Reeve, fist raised in front of the American flag. It's not a new image. It's been around for quite a number of years, but Sideshow have obviously collaborated with Christopher Meadows to produce this fine art, this print as a fine art print in either paper or canvas. It's limited to 500 pieces on paper and 150 pieces on canvas. The pre-orders will be available from this Friday, and it's expected to ship in between October and December this year. You can head to our website for the link, and there's also a giveaway where you could win one of these fantastic looking prints.
Stephen Mike, nostalgia doesn't work for Superman. Also, Stephen Mike, look at this gorgeous picture of Christopher Reeve.
I'm not saying nostalgia doesn't work for Superman. I'm saying it's holding back Superman. It's great. We love nostalgia. I mean, an 80-year plus character, you has to have nostalgia. You have to look back. You cannot forget the past, of course. But you definitely need to be able to evolve. But I agree with you. That wasn't a very good segue.
Yeah. Sometimes you can tell that it's not like we throw this thing together at the last minute, but that there isn't like a person over us kind of looking at the rundown going, hey guys, you may want to switch some things around here.
That print is available to order from this Friday. All right. The big news of today, if you were online and happened to come across all these different social media posts, was the fact that the official announcement from the CW in collaboration with Warner Brothers is the fact that Supergirl will be finishing with Season 6. So the upcoming 6th season of the Supergirl TV series will be the show's final hurrah, if you like. Was this a surprise to you?
No, actually, it wasn't a surprise at all. And I'm not saying that as in I was chomping at the bit for this to happen, because honestly, I'm just remembering when we were getting towards the end of the first season, we were like, is there going to be another season? And now we're starting season 6. Arrow went 7.5, but technically 8 seasons. And I just think that there's a couple different things here. One, I think Melissa, there's no official confirmation on this. I think Melissa having a child probably plays into this. I mean, you have a newborn. I am not, it may be, I may be accused of being sexist, saying, of course, the mother has to step away. I'm not saying she does. I'm just saying maybe this is Melissa's choice. Maybe she's at a point in her career where she's like, okay, I'm having a family. I want to take a little time off. I want to do this, that, and the other. But it's probably that trip to Canada and all that time she spends in Vancouver that probably is playing into this. Plus, her contract is up, and maybe she's just done. This is a physically demanding role. Stephen Amell talked about the same thing. And she is the lead, despite what some storylines have us believe. And I think that, if if it's gonna go out, I'd rather it go out on its own terms
Yep.
than fade away. Go out on kind of a high note. Let them do what they want to do. And not for nothing, 6 seasons of network television is pretty good in this day and age.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it ended prematurely," or 6 seasons isn't long. It is long. There are many shows that go beyond 1, 2, even 3 seasons. Smallville is obviously the exception to the rule, and like Supernatural going even 15 or whatever is even. That's crazy. But most shows don't go beyond 4 or 5 seasons. So if they're lucky, so I think the Supergirl. Getting to its 6th season and being able to go out on its own terms is the way you'd want your run to go. I mean, you don't want to have a Lois and Clark situation where you end on a cliffhanger and then there's never a 5th season picked up, and so nobody knows where things went from there. Being able to end the show on its own terms is fantastic. 6 seasons is fantastic. And we may get to see Melissa Benoist appear to answer John's question in the Superman and Lois TV series down the track sometime. That may be a possibility that she shows up as a cameo or in an episode or two, just like Superman showed up in her TV series from time to time. I think that's a definite possibility. I do want to comment on the reaction to this announcement today.
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed in a lot of fans out there who are celebrating that this show has been ended or cancelled or whatever you want to, how the term you want to use. I've never understood, especially from Superman fans who I hold to a higher standard, the satisfaction that people get in seeing something that they didn't enjoy being ended. Where's the decency in allowing other people to enjoy something? Just because you don't enjoy it doesn't mean something should die a nasty death. I mean,
yeah.
Allow other people to enjoy something. Just because you don't enjoy it doesn't mean it shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I said it earlier tonight, and it's something that my friends at DragonCon like to quote often, is that don't yuck someone else's yum. I don't understand what the margin is in seeing somebody say, I like something, and just because you don't like it, you feel the need to jump in and have that conversation. I know that social media is intoxicating. I know the idea of having immediate commentary and being able to get into these conversations can be a very positive and fun thing to do, but I scroll through Twitter and Facebook all the time, and I see people talking about stuff I don't care for, or I don't particularly like, or I'm not into anymore, and I never at any point feel the need to add my voice to that conversation. If you're happy that the show's ending, and you do your own post about it on your Twitter feed or on your Facebook feed, that's fine, because you're just expressing yourself on the Facebook and Twitter. Or the Flitter, as I'm sure it will one day become called when they merge. But just jumping in on everything. And the other thing that bugged me in looking at people's reaction is so many people assuming that just because there's a Superman show coming on, that this is why the CW pulled the plug. And it shows this perception of how these things work. Like there are these executives behind the scenes going, well, we finally have a Superman show, so we don't need Supergirl. Guys, look how long and hard it took us to get a Superman show. Supergirl was doing just fine. They moved it to the CW. It lasted 5 more. It's now lasting 5 more seasons. I don't think Superman and Lois has anything to do with it. I think they would have been just as happy having 2 super shows on the network.
Yeah. I think Tim says it well in the comments. He says, you can not like something and be glad it's over, but you don't have to go around being a smug jerk to those who liked it. And that's the point. Yeah, you can go on and say, look, I'm glad this thing's over. I watched it and I didn't enjoy it, or I thought they did this wrong, or, like Tina's commenting that she didn't think they necessarily portrayed Superman in the light that she would prefer. But there's a difference between having a criticism of a show, and then there's there's people going, "Oh, thank God, I stopped watching that in season 2. That's crap. I'm glad they cancelled it." It's like, well, if you weren't watching it for the last 3 seasons, then why do you care?
Yeah, I there is this perception and it's everything. Let's go back to when Superman died. The world suddenly cared again about Superman after years of really not caring about Superman. And, like everyone who hadn't picked up a Superman book in decades or, just watched the movies and just moved on, when they announced he was going to die, it's just like, well, they can't do that. Well, you don't have a dog in this fight. So it's just like, so it's the same thing here. If you've walked away from something, I honestly believe this. If you choose to walk away from something, you have given up the right to criticize it. You can criticize what you saw, and you could say, well, I stopped watching it because of this. But you can't go on further and say, well, it obviously deserves, or I'm happy, or whatever. I walked away from the Superman books when Bendis revealed the identity. I have not really given any opinion on how the stories go because I haven't read them. I can only comment on what we talk about here, and that really boils down to the deep and insightful, well, that kind of looks cool, or, well, that sounds like a bad idea. But it's just this idea that when you walk away from something, when you quit, when you stop watching, when you stop reading, that somehow you still get to have a seat at the table. I'm all for an inclusive fandom, but you also can't get a seat at the table just to be the one to sit there and tell everyone that everything they're eating sucks.
Nice analogy. So Melissa Benoist and a couple of the other cast members took to social media to comment on the announcement, and Melissa says that it's been such an honor for her portraying this iconic character, that it's had such an impact on young girls around the world, and she's humbled and speechless at that. She also says that she's excited that they get to plan the conclusion, and cannot wait for us to see what they have in store. She says, "I promise we're going to make it one hell of a final season." So it's like I said, it's great to see that the show can go out on its own terms. And we do know that now the 6th and final season of Supergirl will end and will premiere sometime in 2021. We don't know yet exactly the premiere date, but we do know that it will be later in the season. In the comments, Anthony asks, could they recast Supergirl and make her Earth 2 Power Girl? Look, they could, but I don't see it. It's not going to happen. I
mean, I would like to see Power Girl, but they've kind of, even though the multiverse exists, obviously, still because of the ending of Crisis on Infinite Earths, but at the same time, they've really kind of tried to get everything onto one Earth at this point, so I don't see them wanting to do too much traveling like that. I'd love to see another actor come in and be cast as Power Girl, and have that dynamic where you explore what the differences between those two characters are. But it's not a bad idea. It's cool, but I'm kind of like with Steve. I just don't see the executives and the showrunners going, "Yeah, that's what we want to do."
I don't see it happening. All right, but before we move away from Supergirl, the 5th season is available, the complete 5th season on Blu-ray and DVD at the moment. And the TV Line gave us the gag reel, which I've got a bit of it here for you to watch now.
Play my Pump Up Jams list.
Playing Lena's Pump Up Jam list.
That's just a bit of the fun that they have on the set, making Supergirl the complete 5th season. And the CW also released some of the bloopers. So check out some of those right now.
That's the Super Friends office.
Headquarters, not office.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's where we do our
There's
clerical work.
secretaries in there and stenographers.
I think I already took a bite. I don't remember. Actually, that's a really big bite. Hang on.
1 second, I still have lipstick on.
It looks great.
I have lipstick.
Yeah, I didn't tell you on purpose.
You're good. I don't need anyone to save me. Clearly.
So that's just some of the bloopers, some of the mistakes, some of the things that happen. People flubbing their lines, lipstick on their teeth. Happens to me all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, you wouldn't believe the bloopers that Steve cuts out of the show for the later viewings of it. No, I just the gag reel and the bloopers. It just seems like there's just a lot of dancing. So which I could kind of get behind.
Yeah.
I was especially amused by John Cryer's bloopers, mainly because he breaks character and he starts talking more like him, and it's just really weird to see him in like the Lex getup, but talking like John Cryer instead of talking like Lex. So no, those were fun. I liked those a lot.
Yeah. So if you want to see the full videos, they're on our website, and obviously if you want to purchase Supergirl, the complete 5th season on Blu-ray and DVD, you can do that via our website as well. All right, before we move away from the television side of things, comic conventions not taking place physically. New York Comic Con and MCM Comic Con coming together in the metaverse to bring you one-of-a-kind experiences with talent from the fandoms you love. You can buy tickets to exclusive experiences like meet and greets, live Q&As, personalized video recordings, and get close up with your favorite guests, but obviously behind the screen. So Smallville's cast are doing that. They're getting together on between October 8th and October 11th for this reunion of sorts at New York Comic Con in the metaverse to join the cast for private one-on-one or two-on-one meet and greets and purchase autographs. All you have to do is head to findthemetaverse.com for the full details. You've obviously got Tom Welling, Erica Durant, Sam Witwer, Laura Vandervoort, and Michael Rosenbaum all reuniting to look back at 20 years of the show, look at what's ahead for all of them, and exclusive meet and greet and autographs, as I said. And a happy birthday to Laura Vandervoort, who celebrated a birthday, I think it's today, actually, the 22nd.
I believe it is. I was seeing a little of that on Twitter today.
Yeah, which is why my background is Supergirl related, because September 22nd is also the unofficial birthday of, or the official birthday of the character of Supergirl.
I would say unofficial because she's, not real.
Yeah.
But the fictional birthday. That's a better way to say it.
Which is interesting that Laura Vandervoort, who played Kara Zor-El in Smallville, is born on the same day as Supergirl, or the Supergirl's birthday, and kind of tragic that the show's final season of Supergirl was announced on her birthday.
Yeah, but that's not like the worst thing that's ever happened to Supergirl by corporate. I mean, they killed her. So. Yeah, indeed. Michael says, speaking of birthdays, how was yours last week, Steve? Yes, I. Other than the fact that the show, which was on, of course, we're on a day, ahead of you guys on the 16th. It was, even though it was the 15th for you guys. Had all those issues where we couldn't get online and the show kept getting dropped off and what have you. Other than that 14 minutes of frustration that I had a pretty good birthday. Thank you very much, Michael. It's turning 49 is a little bit scary, the last year of my 40s, but otherwise it was a great day, and I appreciate all the messages that I received. So thank you very much. Sure, it's a lot like the last year of your 30s, except 10 years on.
Yeah, and a lot more aches and pains. From DC Fandom, we didn't get last week to mention the fact that Young Justice Season 4 has been announced, and that they've actually officially announced the title of the new series, and I will play the video of that particular segment right now.
I have so many cool, fans from around the world have sent me a bunch of questions. The first one comes from Chase Maximus all the way from Malaysia. And
hey, Chase.
I don't know if this falls under the spoiler rule, but he's wondering if there is an official title for season 4 that can be revealed.
Yes. We can reveal that. Yeah.
Greg
Our
and
4th
Brandon
season is officially titled Young Justice Phantoms.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Which sort of sounds like fandom. It kind of sounds like fandom.
See what you
But
did there.
I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
original.
well, gosh,
fandom.
she's clever.
Fandom or
She's very
phantom-
clever.
Phantom?
Great.
So there you have it. Young Justice Phantoms is the name of the 4th season of the show. That's not a bad title.
No, I just keep hearing Jason Mewes scream, "Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo," from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. No, I mean, I still haven't watched the 2nd and 3rd season, but it's just so weird that Winnie Cooper from the Wonder Years is Miss Martian in this show. It's just I don't know why that tickles me, but it does. No, but you know, there's a rabid fan base.
Yes.
For this show, so I'm glad that, you know, they're getting some more teases. I mean, we really just, good Lord, we just need anything we can right now to kind of hold on and find some hope in the world. Though things are going better for your country than mine.
At the moment. John, we'll get to your question that's being broadcast at the moment right now about the DC Universe digital streaming service. We'll get to that. It's on our list of things to talk about. Before we move away from Young Justice, one of the DC Fandom panels was the audio play performance of a brand new Young Justice episode performed by the series voice cast, which was just before that part of the video that I played then. And you can check that out online. I believe it's been captured in some capacity. So I love audio play dramas, and I'm going to talk a bit more about the radio series one that Tim Daly was a part of as well. But I'm happy for Young Justice fans. I haven't seen the 3rd season myself. Still waiting for that to show here or to pick it up myself. But yeah, it's great that this show, which was cancelled after season 2, and then, you know, through a massive fan, push, the show was renewed and brought back for Young Justice Outsiders, and now season 4 is continuing, so that is great, and I'm really happy for fans of that animated series. Diabetic Superman asks, doesn't Michael and Superman share the same birth date? Yes, they do. Michael is a February 29th baby, and Superman's birthday is celebrated on that leap year day. So I think Michael might secretly be Superman.
No.
No? Okay.
He is in much better shape than me, and I have way too many aches and pains. So, but you've never seen us in the same place twice, so, you know, together. So, you know, there is that. So I guess now is the time.
Where'd Michael go?
Yeah, there you go.
Someone see Michael?
You will not believe how many times my wife, who mocks me relentlessly about the glasses thing in Superman, that if I take off my glasses, she'll suddenly say there's a stranger in the house, and it's kind of funny. So.
Very funny.
I need to see.
Oh, Michael's back, so I'm glad Michael's back. We can continue with the show now. We're going to take a quick break, play a few messages, and then come back on the flip side to talk about exactly what is happening with the DC Universe digital streaming service and something called DC Universe Infinite. We'll be back right after these messages, so don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode, so stand by.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
When Lex Luthor unleashes his plan to destroy the world, you can be just like Superman. With a Superman Returns Inflato suit, you can pretend to have all the muscles of a Man of Steel. Then, strap on the punch and crush gloves to hear the sound of every punch you throw and everything you crush. Inflato suit accessory, you put it together, batteries not included, punch and crush gloves sold separately. And when trouble hits the skies, you'll be ready with a Fight and Fly FX cape with real flying sounds. This cape responds to every move you make, whether you turn left or right to save the day.
Now we're back on WGBS TV Live, where I bought one of those Inflato suits, but I never actually opened it up.
It may not fit, though, we are short, so.
You never know. So some interesting merchandise items from the Superman Returns days. All right, so the question was asked, and the official announcement came through this week that DC Universe, the digital streaming service, will transform into DC Universe Infinite, the ultimate comic book subscription service. So, you get there's more than 24,000 comic books at launch on January 21st when DC Universe Infinite premium digital comic book service launches. Subscribers will also encounter digital first comics, exclusive access to DC fan events, as well as a steady stream of recently released comics 6 months after the physical versions hit store shelves. Following its launch on January 21st, it will then expand globally, which is great news for fans outside the USA. But obviously there are a lot of concerns and questions about what this means for the movies and television shows and other content that was available for fans. Well, that will be merged into HBO Max, a separate digital streaming service.
So a couple things on this. One, the best part of this announcement was the limited time offer, and I'm sure it'll be a little more expensive down the road, but there's a limited time offer now that for, you can do it for $7.99 a month, but if you pay an extra $4.99, so you're paying $13 a month, you get both DC Universe Infinite and HBO Max.
Oh,
this is the best of both worlds. This is the thing to do. I think there was absolutely no way once they announced HBO Max that they were going to have all of the live action and animated stuff on a separate app. It doesn't make sense corporately. I can't imagine a company like AT&T looking at it and going, no, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and do things. Two things differently. It's $2 cheaper a month than DC Infinite will be, $2 cheaper a month than Marvel Unlimited, and I think I like DC more. So I'm just happier that, one, you get all the comics that you've been getting before. Now you're also getting new books 6 months after they're released instead of a longer wait. So all of that is fantastic. I think this is a great move. I'm glad that they're keeping it. We've been talking about it. I banged on about the fact that they had so much infrastructure in place. It doesn't make any sense. And they're continuing with like the articles and such that were on DC Universe. So for those that liked it being its own thing, I kind of get that. I understand that. I just think, strategically speaking, this is the best thing they can do.
So some of the questions people are asking, so why is it the same price, $7.99 per month, if they're axing so much of the original content, maybe halving the content that you were getting?
I didn't think that was financially sustainable anyways.
Yeah.
I from the moment they announced that, I'm like, at some point they're going to start charging more for this. I get that, thinking that you're paying the same and not getting as much, but again, it depends on what you're there for. If you're there for the comics, you're getting the exact same thing. If you're there for the shows and you don't care about the comics, don't get DC Universe Infinite and just go for HBO Max, where you not only get all the DC stuff, but you get all the other stuff that HBO Max offers. I mean, this is the thing is, this is where it's going. Streaming is the future. COVID is proving this. I had the brainstorm this week that this actually gives them an opportunity to do things and projects that they wouldn't normally do. I want HBO Max to do an adaptation of Tom DeHaven's It's Superman. I want a period piece mini-series of that. I think it would be perfect for a streaming service, just because of how that thing is structured. It gives them a different take on Superman. I mean, these are the things. This is why I'm so excited about this, is because I just think I get to have all my comics on one thing. I get to watch all the stuff on the other. It's one, I get to pay one monthly service. I mean, basically for the price of Netflix, I'm getting a bunch of stuff to watch and 24,000 comics to read.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Yeah, I can understand people who maybe originally subscribed to it, or a little bit put off. Anthony's commenting that there are just so many streaming services now that you don't know where to look, where to go. I guess you just got to pick and choose. Like you got to decide what is. If you're a Marvel Disney person, then Disney Plus is your way to go. If you're a Warner Brothers DC person, then going HBO Max is the way to go. I'm talking about the movies and television side of things. If you're a comic book fan and that's where your interests lie, then DC Universe Infinite is the thing for you. If you're a fan of all of them, then go get a second job.
I also like the fact that as it stands now, and it looks like it's going to continue, on the Marvel Unlimited app, you can only download to read offline 12 books at a time. There doesn't seem to be a limit on the DC side of things, which again is just so nice because I don't have internet access on my tablet. I bought a tablet. I'm not paying AT&T more money to have a separate phone line basically for my tablet when I don't use it like that. So I just like everything about this. This is the one bit of news over the past week that I was actually kind of excited about, because it's with everything that's happening, with the bloodbath that happened. Yeah, this is just a spit of news.
The question was, what if you're already subscribed to both? What if you're already a DC Universe subscriber and a HBO Max subscriber? I'm guessing they're going to roll it into being that, what was the price you mentioned? So $7.99 plus $4.99 per month. You probably get that $13, price subscription for both.
Diabetic Superman in the chat is... There are people salty about the fact that Roku does not have HBO Max. I mean, it's just like that is the number one complaint. Now which I'm kind of hoping for, because that's eventually where my wife and I are going. We're going to cut the cord completely. We're just going to get a stick to stream stuff with. I'm tired of cable, especially with the fact that our cable seems to go out once a year and we have to get somebody over here. And I'm not even going to get into what DirecTV did last week, because it was just infuriating. So
people asking what's the noise in the background. Sorry, there's somebody blowing and mowing outside next door, so apologize.
Hey, you're getting into spring, y'all.
Yeah, that's right. Things are growing here. Everyone's getting out there and fixing their gardens. So sorry, it should probably cease pretty quickly. No, not a monster truck, just a backyard blower and lawnmower. Okay, so moving to the comic book side of things now. Last week we didn't get a chance to talk about the fact that the December solicitations were released, and there's a couple of things. First and foremost on that was the fact that December's issues of Action Comics, which I believe is 1028, and Superman, which is number 28, will be the just think of that 1,000. Yep, will be the final issues of Brian Michael Bendis, his run on the Superman titles. So John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson, I think his name is, will be ending their run with Action Comics, and then Ivan Rice and Joe Prado, the art team on Superman, will also be ending their term as the artists on that book with the December issues. Some fans again celebrating that fact. I've enjoyed what Brian Michael Bendis has done. Obviously, there are some things that I don't necessarily agree with. Some of the decisions that he made, revealing Superman's secret identity is one of them. But this is a new era ready to come for Superman as of January 2021. It's exciting time to see what will happen next.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on the book for a little over 2 years now. He wrote 2 titles, so it's almost like having 4 years worth of Superman stories between the 2 titles. It's kind of similar to what happened with Dan Jurgens and Pete Tomasi too. I am not celebrating this. I'm not happy about this, mainly because my problem is specific and personal. So I just it doesn't mean I'm going to be jumping back onto the books either, because it's going to take a lot for them to make me do that. I don't know if I'm going to collect a Superman title on a regular basis that isn't like a digital first thing ever again. However, to those that are out there that have liked this run, and I'm seeing a lot of people on social media that have expressed their love and of what Bendis has brought to the character, I hope it goes out on a strong note for you. I didn't see him staying on the character very long. I didn't see him having like an Avengers run on this character like he did with them when he was on them for like almost like 8 years. So and wrote a lot more than one title pretty much going on at the same time. I don't know what DC has planned. I don't know if there's going to be a DC Comics. So
it's hard to know what the future holds. Yeah, well, we took to our website. You were amongst the guys who got involved in writing an article about where to now for the Superman comics, giving some ideas, some suggestions. Looking into our crystal ball, shaking up the 8-ball, and trying to figure out what the thing will say as far as where things are going next. Some interesting ideas. We don't know who is coming on to write the books next after Bendis. There is talk about Mark Waid having rejoined DC. He's got his name on a particular comic book coming up that has been solicited. Whether or not he would return to Superman or whether or not we want him back on Superman, I don't know. There are a number of writers out there. Venditti is one of them who I would love to see take on the books. And I'm thinking the fact that we haven't seen another issue of Superman Man of Tomorrow, that digital first series, new chapter in that, might bode well for the fact that they might have, a couple of months ago when that kind of stopped was when they would have known that, hey, Bendis is leaving, this is behind the scenes. Maybe, you could be, your little Lobo thing that you're doing in that could be where you start to take off in the main titles. I've got my fingers crossed that he's chosen, but I don't know.
Yeah, I heard the Mark Waid rumor. I've also heard that he might be going on to Green Lantern. The only reason I would put any kind of stock in Mark Waid coming to the character is DiDio's no longer part of the company. It seems like from interviews that I've heard and read of Mark Waid that there was like kind of some personal animus there, and they, to be fair, they completely screwed Mark Waid over twice, as a matter of fact. They had him put all his heart and soul into Birthright, and then just ditched that like not even 2 years later. They're like, nope, that's not the origin. Sorry. It was a nice take on it, but we're not going forward with this. And then what they did with him with the Legion. I mean, he was writing a Legion of Superheroes book. He was tasked with making the characters and the property fresh for a 2005 audience. And behind the scenes, they were planning to bring back the Levitz Legion, for lack of a better term. And so it's just like, the fact that he's coming back, I think, has everything to do with the fact that Dan DiDio is no longer part of the equation.
Yeah, so where things will head with the Superman comics, we don't know. I'm guessing we'll find out before the January solicitations are released in the middle of October. An announcement will come forth, I'm sure, whether it will leak or whether they'll make an official announcement. We will know for sure within the next couple of weeks, I imagine. I wish Bendis well. I think he's, that he had his heart in the right place with the character. He'd really, it was a massive turn for him to come to DC and to take on a character like Superman. I think they took a misstep in getting Romita Jr. as his artist for Action Comics. Ivan Reis's artwork will be sadly missed on Superman. I think he's a fantastic artist, so we'll wait and see. Tom Taylor's another writer that his name's been bandied about to come on and actually write a positive Superman story for once in his life. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with all of that, and I'll give it a shot digitally. And if I like it, I'll buy the trade. I think that's kind of where I am right now. And Anthony in the chat is suggesting a new mini or maxi series regarding what Superman and Superman Family origins are in the main current continuity. That's not a bad idea. It's just on a personal level, I'm kind of really tired of retreading the origins, because I was doing the math over the last couple of weeks, and if you want to start back in 2001 when they did that whole Return to Krypton storyline where they tried to change the origin again, I mean, it's just so many in 20 years, so many.
Yeah.
It's just like an origin that like didn't get touched for decades, got changed in '86, everyone freaked out, and then didn't get touched for another like 14 years. Suddenly, like all hands are, all gloves are off on this kind of thing, and I think we just need to focus on good Superman stories.
Yeah.
Entertaining Superman stories that will grab readers.
100%. And Jeff Lemire is another name that's being thrown out there as a possible fan preference. Last month, Anthony asked us about Endless Winter, and the solicitations for December have given us more information about this new event. It'll be a 9-issue December event which pits the world's greatest superheroes against an ancient enemy. The Justice League learns firsthand the meaning of revenge is a dish best served cold when in Justice League Endless Winter, a 9-issue event taking place throughout the month of December. It says here, 1,000 years ago, a disparate group of heroes, Hippolyta, is that how you pronounce her name?
Or Hippolyta.
Hippolyta? Black Adam, Swamp Thing, Black Adam, and the Viking Prince banded together to prevent the world from freezing at the hands of the Frost King, an exiled Norse god with the ability to control an entire ecosystem. The heroes triumphed, but victory came at a terrible price, one that has been kept secret until now. Of course it has. So the title lineup for Justice League Endless Winter includes Justice League Endless Winter #1 on sale December 1st, The Flash 767 December 8th, Superman Endless Winter #1 on sale December 8th, Aquaman 66 December 15th, Justice League 58 December 15th, Teen Titans Endless Winter Special #1 December 15th, Justice League Dark 29 December 22nd, Black Adam Endless Winter Special #1 December 22nd, Justice League Endless Winter Special #2 December 29th will be the 9th and final issue of this event. So if you're not reading some of these titles, you will have to pick up, I'm guessing, some of these specials, or more, or not. Maybe they're just particular stories about those characters in those particular in this particular event. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm not the one to talk about this. I have no interest in a crossover at this point. So.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's the Justice League Endless Winter Special #1 and #2 that will be the main things, and then the other ones in between are kind of telling the stories of the other characters or what they're doing. We will be reviewing the Endless Winter Special for Superman, and obviously Justice League #58, and the 2 specials of the Justice League. But beyond that, I guess the other stories will be, they'll probably be just the characters' own kind of side story involved in that. We'll find out when the first issue drops December 1.
Anthony says that Endless Winter sounds like Final Night. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
So now, if we're going to redo all of the 90s crossovers, I think the time has come to revisit JL Ape. I think there's fertile ground there to explore.
All right, before we go off crazily, let's look at what's happening this month, or this week, sorry, for Superman comic book readers. We have the following books available to read. Action Comics 1025, which has a variant cover, which is making up part of the background, a shirt rip one. I know you enjoy that, Michael. We have Batman Superman #12, which is also available in a variant cover, and they are the 2 comic books that are available this week for comic book readers.
Yeah, it's always up for a shirt rip.
And as I mentioned earlier, quickly, during DC Fandom on September 12th, they did a Superman radio series special where different actors from different TV shows and things got into the roles of various characters to reproduce the first 4 episodes, I think it was, of the 1940 Superman radio series. It was fascinating. I loved it. They had a Foley artist. They had everything like that. Different characters playing different roles. There was 3 different actors playing Superman from what I recall. There was even a female Perry White in one episode. It was just really, really cool to watch. So if you haven't checked that out, you can have a look at it. And Tim Daly was saying how fun it was to return to Superman, and he would love to come back and play the role in anything in the near future. Yep. So I'd love to see that as well, or hear that as well.
Yeah, I he's my favorite. Soder. There's the Bibbo impersonation for Venkman.
Well, speaking about soda, did you see that Funko Pop vinyl soda limited Superman?
Yes.
I think I've got a quick image of it here. It's a little collectible that you can get in a soda can. Whoops, I better turn that one off there. That's from Funko Pop. Pretty cool. So you can say soda again.
Soder. It should say soda. It really should say soda.
It should.
I'm dead serious about this.
All right, well, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode, and I'm glad that everything worked out and we were able to get the whole hour in this week, and we were able to touch on many of the topics that we've missed out on last week. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of WGBS TV Live. I'd like to thank everyone who was in the YouTube comments and the Super Chat donators as well. And once again, thanks to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Thank you, Mike.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, Tina Murray, and John Patrick Van Pelt. And if you want to sponsor the Superman homepage, please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage, where you too can be a sponsor for as little as $1. Or you might also like to become a Superman homepage YouTube member. All you have to do is click the join button below. Now, the complete 1 hour video of tonight's show will remain available on the Superman homepage website and our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it back or you missed part of the show. We'll be back next week for the final episode of September on Tuesday, September 29th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for another edition of this show. We look forward to talking with you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates about everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.